Hi everyone, this week is horrible. You might as well tune out now. Or just listen to my dulcet tones in the background as you do something else. Yeah, just leave the video on and let the ads run and, you know, do something else because you're not going to miss much this week and everybody will be happy. Welcome to Crowdfunding Countdown, where we take a look at every single board game campaign that's finishing up this week, unless I forget about them or don't see the link in time, like I did with last week's retroactive pick of the week, Reviving Kathmandu. There it is. There it is. We'll talk about it in a second, but first off, huge shout out to all of my newest patrons. Okay, and my existing patrons, thank you so much. It is solely due to your support that I love doing this Crowdfunding Countdown series, and I love you. I love you. You're now my new mother and father. Congratulations, I will be home for Easter. Set out a plate for me. Yum, yum, yum. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I do know what it was. Congratulations to all of my patrons. You have legally adopted me as your son and or father, depending on the age difference. And there's no taking it back. All right, let's get into the week. We've got a very bad week this week, but I am excited to talk about Reviving Kathmandu because I missed it last week. You can still late pledge for it. I do have a review on it if you want to find out about the gameplay, but I wanted to take a little look-see here and see what we got. I actually think this was an okay deal as well. 35 bucks for this. I guess I'm small. This, yeah, it feels fun. I like the little tweaks that they added in as well. I know they were going to take a look at the art. I don't know if they did yet, but I do know that they added in these little additional cards. Oh, there's a drawstring pouch for wooden coins. This stretch goal is nonsense because you want to keep them separate because they're player pieces. You're not pulling them out of a bag. It's not a magical thing. It's a bad idea. But otherwise, this is a fun idea. A little D4 that rolls like that, like Terry Jeffords' SUVs. And they unlocked heat transfer printed coins, which is huge so that it doesn't come off on your sweaty little fingers as you clutch your coin searching for something to bid on. That's me. It is a fresh take on the bidding genre, and it is becoming one of my new favorite filler games. I think it's great. I really do. So if you missed it, I'm sorry that you missed it, but go check out my main review, and I can tell you everything that you need to know there. I honestly would even just do the extra $7 to get these public mission cards. I wish that was implemented into the main thing. I mean, shipping is still expensive. It's going to be like, it's going to be like 60 bucks. But for a smaller publisher, you know, I'm willing to throw them a bone, especially with their last campaign of the Pay What You Want Kickstarter that they did. Haha, I can make it bigger. That's what she said. And their leveling up actually feels really good because for just another 17 bucks, you could get Chili Mafia, which is fun. It's a fun card. I don't want to say anything disparaging about it or else Pablo will come and shoot me in the head.
Did somebody say Pablo shooting you in the head? That's how I do it. Make it bigger for me. Switch it. Yeah, now I'm here in all my glory.
Pablo.
That's me, Pablo.
No, I was covering Reviving Kathmandu.
You were covering it, but it finished pledging a while ago. You didn't cover it during last week?
Well, no, because I wanted to highlight it. I wanted to highlight it this week, especially, and because if people late pledge, if because people late pledge, then Lemery Games is going to get more money. They want to pay that Kickstarter fee, right? So really, I'm the savior.
But who can really tell these sorts of things,
right?
You know what? I'll look into it. I'll give you a pass for this one time.
Chili Mafia is, yeah, I've got a review on that too. You can go check that out. I'm not going to talk about it too much more, but I did want to highlight Reviving Kathmandu because legitimately it was the pick for you last week, and it definitely beat everything last week, and I just didn't see it. I didn't see it when I was going through, and I do not know how I missed it, but maybe because I was incredibly jet-lagged. Anyway, let's move on into darker waters, browner pastures, as we see what this week has in store for us. I'm sure there's going to be some diamonds in the rough. Just from the brief glimpse at them, I don't think anything looks good, But I'm often proven wrong, and I hope that is the case for this week. So let's check out our first one, Fatal Knockout, a 1 to 2 player tabletop fighting game based on the arcade cabinet-inspired stage. I'm sure this is a term that I'm unfamiliar with, but my mind is just going to a bunch of cabinets pushed together that Dalsim and Vega are punching it out on. Be the Last Fighter Standing reminds me of Twisted Fables and Knockdown, the Awakened Realms Light thing that they did, which seemed okay. So let's check it out. Let's see if it's any good. Here's what I do like about this, and they highlight it in the video, is that the first card you play face up and the rest you play face down. And so there's a little bit of a programming aspect in it of you don't know where your opponent is going to move and what they're going to do. And that seems interesting. I like being able to try to read your opponent's mind and say, are they going to move back? So then should I move forward and punch, or should I anticipate them punching me and so I have to dodge? Those sorts of things feel potentially interesting. I think the initiative order might kill that because you don't get that back and forth. But then I guess that could simulate the pow, 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 and then you're charging up for a big Hadouken. I do like the rulebook. Give me the rulebook. Let's see it for real. Close to top of the page, so good marks for that. I like this too. You're gaining kind of energy, and you'll get abilities as you go on. You'll get to trigger things. You can get a little shield. You can get bonuses. And then when you reach the end of it, you get your KO card, which gets to the bottom of your deck. And so you've activated that, so you're ready to ramp up. That feels like a fun little thing. Yeah, it seems very simple, though. You're going to lay out the cards. You're going to flip them over. You know one bit of information about what your opponent's going to do. You don't know the rest of what they're going to do. And then you flip them over and find out what happens very quickly. You know what? It doesn't seem bad. And I love this. £8 print and play. So 14 bucks Canadian. Seems very simple. 34 pounds for the base pledge. So that's like 58 Canadian, 41 US, and then shipping. Oh, but you do get 6 fighters. That's nice. Kind of like the box too. Oof. Shipping is high though. Shipping is the lowest to the UK and the US. That's about the same, I think. But it would still cost you like 57 for this. It would cost me $91 for this. So that's a definite nope. 60 bucks. I mean, the system doesn't seem bad. It seems like it would be quick. It seems like it would be fun. If the art really resonates with you, maybe that's a reason to get it. I think the print and play, honestly, is where it's at if you have access to being able to print stuff, because it looks very print and play-esque to me anyway. But yeah, worth a try. This is the designer talking to somebody, giving the same interview twice. No, he's just recording the audio on his phone, which actually is kind of a good hack. It just makes it a weird watch. Anyway, if you're interested in that, that finishes Tuesday, March 28th. That's tomorrow at 10:59 a.m. Not horrible. Definitely not horrible. Moving along, we have Last Fish, an all-in-one competitive card game. Are you going to be horrible? Actually, I hope this one, I think this one might be a sleeper hit. And now that I say that, I've doomed it to be horrible. Well, we'll see. Shoot fireballs. Explore the Great Pond. Fry your friends. They were fishy anyway. I mean, I like that the shipping is here, but I really would like a how to play first. Oh, yeah, this isn't going to be... This feels targeted towards me. Where's the rulebook? I am interested, but what it seems like right now, just kind of a take that fest. You're going to have a bunch of cards. You can use as many spells as you want. You can use as many instants you want. You can play a curse, and then you can equip a item to your champion, but you're going to be drawing out of 2 different decks, and one of them is an encounter deck, and some random zany things are going to happen to you that you have no control over. And then another is a draw deck where you get attacks where you can use to smack each other in the face. That's the type of game it is. That's all you need to know. However, it's a good price point. It's 20 bucks US, 28 Canadian, and then it's only $5 shipping to the US, it said. 15 to Canada, so not a good price point there. But, you know, if you like the art and, I don't know, I feel like there are just so many of these types of games out there that what makes this stand out? I mean, I guess it's the art. It's always the art style that makes it feel good. But if you have one of these games, you're probably not in the market for the other ones because you're playing the one that you have. And if you don't have this type of game, well, you're probably not interested in this type of game because you're interested in more advanced stuff, right? It's tough to me to see people get wild success with these sorts of styles of games. I don't quite know how they all fund when they all feel very similar. But hey, good for you. If you're interested, that finishes Tuesday, March 28th at 4 p.m. Let's keep moving along to the boys, Le Normand card deck. We're not covering this. I just thought these boys looked funny, and also it gave me a reason to say something, a different iteration of being a wicked, naughty, bad boy. You could be a wicked rider boy. You could be a wicked clover boy. You could be a wicked cloud boy. You could be a naughty coffin boy, was my nickname in high school. They said, "Get out of here, you naughty coffin boy," and I would run away from all the hearses. I'm not telling you what I was doing in there, but I bet you can imagine. I was practicing for my own funeral, okay? And I was thinking about all the nice things people might say about me once I pass. I've told you all about my funeral plans, right? I'm sure I have. That I want to be animatronic, that I want to be dancing, and people can take pictures with my dead body. I think that would be pretty fun. What can I say? I'm a wicked serpent boy. I'm nothing more than a naughty bouquet boy, okay? I'm just a wicked bad ship boy. I'm just a bad tree boy. All right, I'm done. Let's move on. This is, I know, why you tune in to Crowdfunding Countdown. Moving along, we're going over to GameFound, and I actually think, I've just looked at this I've looked at this briefly. It passed my litmus test of being included in this because it's funded, but it's funded with 3 backers, and it really did not have a very large funding goal whatsoever. This is called The Demise of Dr. Frankenstein. It's a dice drafting and worker placement game, and I'm excited to take a look at it, and I think, strangely enough, this is going to be better than the majority of the campaigns covered this week. I'm fairly certain. So let me take a look, and then I'll see how wrong I was. All right, it's very simple. You have 6 actions you can possibly do. You roll 8 dice. Those will determine the type of actions you can do. You can go get some variable actions down here. You can move Igor around and put some cubes on this spot. You can get some roll a dice and get some body parts over here. You can get some money over here. You can buy some officers and bribe them off over here. And then down here, you score points every time you make a completed monster. But then the villagers get angry, which also is a weird part because it says when they hit number 4, the round is over, I think they said, or the game is over, but they only move 1 section if you do certain things. It just seems like a completely useless sort of thing, but I'll read through the rulebook and see what else. Yeah, so the villager isn't moved again until the 8 dice are moved. So it's just a round tracker because you're never not going to do things to anger the villagers because there's a lot of stuff that makes the villagers move. That seems very odd to me, and otherwise, it seems decent. I would play it. I'd probably enjoy it. It's $33, and the shipping is only to the US. So I'm sorry, fans. That's probably why it's so low, because it's only to the US. I mean, it seems all right as a good go-around, and the fact that other things can get thousands of dollars, and this is only at 100, is a discrepancy. So check that out if you want. That finishes on the 30th, Thursday, the 30th at 2 p.m. Moving along to Star Tycoon, Build Your Galactic Corporation. Raised a decent amount of money. Good amount of backers. This is actually the first one that shows decent stuff. I am hopeful you will get us out of our doldrum, Star Tycoon. Let's see it. Engine building game for 1 to 6 players. I feel like I was just signed up for a pyramid scheme, and I don't know why. But now my entire fortune, my big YouTube fortune, is tied up in Star Tycoon crypto. Trays for days. 2 of them. Comes with 2 trays. How many days? 2 of them. $1 print and play, though. That's great, because they know nobody's going to spend the time to print it all off, and they know. And so they'll just take your dollar, and they'll say thank you. 34 US, that also feels like the correct price from what I've seen. I would love to see the rulebook, though. Stop showing me stuff. There we go. Rulebook over halfway down the page. Shame on you. This is kind of neat. I really like this as a little mechanic as we go through it. You're going to be, I'll explain the game now. You're going to be building up your engines of planets. You can see these up here with the blue symbol. Those are the planets. And you're going to be slotting these different developments, the hammers, underneath the planets. You're going to be tucking those hammers under those planets, saving them for a rainy day. And the goal is to, each planet will kind of have a number of different colors that you want to tuck the developments under. So you're looking for specific things to enhance your planets, because obviously a gas giant can't have a bunch of buildings on it. It's got to have, I assume, just more gas, and also gas refineries. That's a better one. And then some rings, so it seems fancy and people stop looking at its unfortunate gas problem. No, dang it. While you do this, you're going to be buying and selling resources, and the exchange rate for each of the resources will be going up and down. So the more you sell, then it starts to become more valuable because people have gotten rid of them, right? So you're always going to be manipulating how much the resources are worth and how much you're able to buy them. Each of your planets is also going to generate resources, and this is where this illegal goods that you can bypass things and just get illegal goods, but they're represented by this little skull token. So if you have more goods, you have to discard your leftover credits and resources down to 7, but you can't discard illegal goods. So they kind of have to stick around, and they work as a penalty. So they're good to get, but then for carrying things over, there's a little penalty associated with that. And that seems exciting to me. This is also a little interesting to me, is that on your turn, you can take as many of these actions as possible. It's not a typical you take one and everybody goes around and you're fighting for things. On your turn, you do whatever the hell you want, as much as you can, and then somebody else gets to go. This also involves trading, though. If you need something down the line, you can then talk in between people and trade resources and barter for favors and that sort of stuff. Honestly, looks good. I love that there's a $1 print and play. And $34 US, 47 Canadian. Let's see what the shipping is. Be 10? 12. Okay. I mean, Canada, it's bonkers, right? It's always bonkers. To Canada, $26 US to get to Canada. No, it's not an $80 game. Is it a $46 US game? Potentially. It's certainly not a $90 Canadian game, but it might be a $46 US game. So if you're interested in that and falling prey to this crypto scheme, well, check it out. That finishes Thursday, March 30th at 10 p.m. Next up, we have Sally Face, Strange Nightmares, bringing the world of tabletop gaming to Steve Gabrey's Sally Face, whatever that means. I think I prefer salad fingers, but we'll take a look anyway. I think this tells you all you need to know. The Binding of Isaac 4 Souls, that it's by the same publisher. That's why it's doing so well, because it's video game based. Will it appeal to a more intense tabletop audience? I highly doubt it, but we'll see. I do like the gameplay is right kind of at the top of the page. Some highlights. Oh, they named a pledge after me. Guys. Well, shipping before the rulebook. I don't know if there's even going to be a rulebook. Yikes. Kickstarter's now adding photos to the pledges, though. That's kind of neat. So it'd be $64 for the full thing. No rulebook, Sally Face. What the damn hell? Well, thanks, Brothers Murph, for having something very succinct. It's 2 minutes. You can go watch it yourself, or you can listen to me. You roll some dice. You use the dice to clear stuff in various locations. You move around to the stuff. You can re-roll the dice like Battle Yahtzee, but if you roll too many demon faces, a bad thing happens to you. Yeah, okay. Seems like it could be decent. It's again on the sort of lighter side, but if you like the IP, there might be an all-right game here. It definitely looks better than Binding of Isaac, for sure. I mean, this is just funding based upon the backs of the IP and people wanting the IP, but hey, people like what they like, and I like that you got more of it. And I like that this isn't going to be a total nonsense snooze fest, and it might get people interested in board gaming. So if you like Sally Face, sometimes it's nice for people to see your true smile. That finishes Friday, March 31st, at the time of night where the soul generally leaves your body and roams among the spirits. Moving along to Boba Goba. Really, I mean, we covered the other Boba card game, but this one is the official Boba enthusiast card game. So if you backed Boba Panic or Boba Fett's tasty little treats, Bobo's gelatinous balls, one of them, well, know that you screwed up, because this is the official Boba enthusiast card game, okay? And if you're really a Boba enthusiast, then you'd be backing Boba Goba. You wouldn't have been backing Boba canigeta.com. This has gotta be horrible, right? Let's see. I take it back. It's amazing. It is the official Boba enthusiast card game. I've changed my tune in 4 seconds, obviously, because I'm a big jump scare boy. Just kidding. It looks completely horrible. Sorry, Boba Goba. You're just drawing cards and you're playing them. Sometimes you get points. Sometimes you have to miss 2 of your turns. Sorry. Random the board game is not something that I'm particularly interested in. Look at this. You draw golden Boba, you're 20 points. Wow. But I drew a golden Boba Goba, and I have 100 points. Look at that. Are we having fun yet? I do appreciate that it is the official Boba Enthusiast card game. And I appreciate that they really thought it out, because you can put the Boba Goba cards into your boba tea and they will turn into tapioca balls. That's true. They've figured out the science. However, they did not figure out the science for me to keep talking about it. Is this the most brutal I've ever been to a game? I'm sorry about it. But let's go on to something heartwarming, which is the St. Nicholas gaming table, which is a proper gaming table for a proper foster home. Now, you can't get this gaming table, but you don't deserve it. Give it to the foster kids. They've been raising money to get a cool D&D gaming table for their foster home, where they've introduced D&D to all their foster kids, and this looks pretty cool, and it's funded, and they're excited about it. So I'm excited about it too. There's your feel-good story. You can feel good that other people donated to make kids happy, and you can smile like you were a part of it, right? That's how it works. I mean, you could donate so that they could have an even better setup, but they hit their funding goal. I think we'll just feel good about ourselves, that all is right with the world, and continue to move on. Over to GameFound, where I don't know. It feels like I might be incredibly harsh today, but I guess in episode 83, you've seen my true colors at this point, and I am a disgruntled grunt of a human, and I'm just happy that you're still here. Let's take a look. We've got 5 games from legendary designers: Phil Walker Harding, Mike Fitzgerald, Alf Siegert, and Sid Saxon. We've got a bunch of different games. I'm interested to see what they're all about. All right, Eagle Gryphon Games, you've given me more work. You've given me 5 things to look at. Well, actually, you've given me 9 things to look at, because there's 6 Sid Saxons. So thanks a ton. Go back to publishing Lacerda. Honestly, probably would take me the same amount of time to go through one of those rulebooks as it will with these 9. First, let's look at Phil Walker Harding's Tanis. This is a excavation game. I do love that the rulebooks are right beside everything. That's fantastic for me. Oh, that's cool. And so it's a digging game. You're going to be pulling out... It's reverse Mahjong. Oh no, Mahjong you reveal things too, don't you? I don't know. I played Mahjong once on a computer, and I tried to figure it out, and clearly I did not. But you're basically taking tiles and trying to make sets as you go on. It's a pretty slick way of randomizing it, though. There's kind of a double-sided box. You put it all in face down, and then you flip it over, you reveal, and you see what's on the top. That's not bad. It feels like very simple domino-style game. Doesn't really blow me away, but I can see how people could have fun with it. Moving on, we're going to move to Crunch Time, which is for 1 to 2 players, and it's a basketball game. Again, thank you for the rulebook, and thank you for the 5 pages. Basically, it's a little basketball game where you're battling back and forth between offensive and defensive. Up above, you can see the court. These are your 5 players. And then you're going to have cards that will show if you're in a specific orientation and you're not guarded, well, then you can shoot from a certain spot. And so you're bouncing around, no pun intended, trying to get yourself in the right position and blocking your opponent. You'll trade turns being offensive, defensive for 5 rounds. Person with the most points wins. We'll talk about price when we get to see all of them. It seems okay. A Bard's Night seems like the funniest, but then again, just because something is funny doesn't mean it's necessarily worth spending money on, which I hope, no, my patrons, don't listen to that. I take it back. It's a very simple bidding game. You're going to be collecting different parts of ballads. Each different ballad part has an associated food that can be bid on it. Once the whole ballad is planned out, you then bid on who gets to rock out on which sections, and you can only bid with food that you've picked up and has certainly not been thrown at you. You know what? I can say in my career, no one has ever thrown food at me, and I take that as a plus. I take that as a positive. In this instance, you're bidding on all the food, you want to rock out the most, and at the very end of the game, the player with the most of each theme gets the points, because you're the best at the rocking theme, and you're the best at the chair-making theme. You know, all those chair-making ballads that people love to go on and on about? That's what that one is. Honestly, seems like the weakest out of the 3, and one of those is Dominoes, so what does that tell you? And finally, with the Sid Saxon collection, Sid Saxon, who did Acquire, Can't Stop, I'm the Boss. I've played all of those. They're all fun, so naturally, they're not included in this, and you get some scribblings from his journal that he never saw fit to publish. Cinema is one of those games. I honestly think that's really cool, actually, that they were looking through his notes and they saw some notes about a game that he wanted to publish but never got a chance to, and then brought that to life. That feels pretty neat. That also feels like it could be season 4 of Community, where they just took all the ideas that he wasn't able to crack and threw them at the wall, and we all know how that turned out. If you're a Community fan, you know that that was the gas year. And then in the second one, you have the I'm the Boss, the dice game, which is a dice game version of I'm the Boss. I'm the Boss actually holds up. I should have talked about it more on stealing Yuval's collection. I'm the Boss, the dice game, is another one that was recreated with notes and Banana Blitz, which I am pretty sure Sid may have just been hungry and was scrawling down his dessert order, and they just couldn't read the writing. But I don't want to burst Eagle Gryphon Games' bubble. I bet they found it. It totally wasn't a recipe for banana splits. I swear that's what it wasn't. This actually seems pretty fun. What I like is everybody takes a turn as a producer. You choose everyone puts forward a script. You pick a script, and then everybody puts forward talent cards, but they don't have to show you the talent. They just have to tell you about them. They listen, I got this kid. His name's Crimp Jormp. Crimp Jormp, he's in my hand right now, and he is perfect for this role. And then when Crimp Jormp comes out onto the field, they didn't tell you that, yeah, he is an actor, but he's only good in movies that are completely B-list and directed by monkeys. It's the only way that Crimp Jormp can shine. But that seems kind of fun in terms of holding on to things in your hand. Say, listen, you can't lie. So you can't say that you have someone if you don't, but you can say that a certain part of it, and you can leave out other information, right? Although that probably would just lead to everyone around the table saying, listen, if they're not telling you that information because they can't lie, then they're holding something back. That's awful. Less exciting now that I see instantly how to gamify the system, but, you know, seems cute enough. This seems like a cute little solitaire game if you like that sort of thing. You lay out a bowling pin, and then you use cards that add up and match the value, and you can eliminate 3 pins or 1 to 3 pins, and you want to take them all out. That seems kind of cool. Simple, easy. Oh, this is kind of neat. You're going to go back and forth collecting gems. Somebody puts you indicate a line, and someone else indicates another column, and then they get to take the gem that's at the intersection. Then you get to move yours and take a gem on their line. And so you're going back and forth trying to predict what sort of gems people will take, trying to get the most points, matching the gems together. Neat. Seems a little like Sobek for 2. That was all right. Okay, so that's the first bundle of Sid Sackson's collection. And then the second bundle we're going to look at as well, because why not? That's just kind of what we do here. Every little bit of rulebook that we do get to look at increases our knowledge and understanding of games, right? We're becoming board game supervillains who know everything and do nothing with that information. Banana Blitz is just hearts, where you don't want to take the bananas. And then there's some fruit salad cards to really shake things up. Good one, Sid Sackson. You really broke the bank on the ideas with that one. Not your best work. All the other ones are better, but hey, they can't all be bangers. So yeah, it's a dice version of I'm the Boss. I'm the Boss is where you're going around a board, a square board, and when you land on certain spots, you can start a deal, and people can participate in that deal if they've got cards to show that they share influence, and you all want to convince people to give you money. Person with the most money wins. This is very similar, except there's this expert track that everybody gets to move up and down on. You're going to roll the dice and move up and down on the expert track. You can only be one expert at a time, and you can bump people out of the expert track. And so if you're at the top of an expert track, you can participate in any deals that involve your expertise. So that's where the dice portion goes in. Then you can create deals, try to get the most money, yada yada. Okay, this is a very simple sort of roll and write, flip and write. You're trying to cross out numbers on a grid. Feels like you'll play this once and then call it a day. Definitely pack number 1 is the way to go if you're interested in the Sid Sackson stuff. This pack number 2 is abysmal. Whatever the number is, you can cross out numbers in a line that add up to that number. Very similar to Bowling Solitaire, just on a different take, but Bowling Solitaire seems better. Let's check out their prices. Tanis, the domino game, feels the most expensive, 29 bucks. Basketball is 20 bucks US. Bard's Night is 22 bucks US, just because it wants to be a little bit more expensive than basketball to really incentivize you not to pick it. The red Legacy Collection, which is the one that you should be interested in, is 29 bucks, and the blue Legacy Collection is the same, and that's the one that is garbage. Honestly, not bad. Red one feels where the value's at. Then basketball highlights, maybe. The rest of the stuff, not really. But kind of a neat little selection. Surprised it's only raised that much, though. Even Gryphon usually has its fans. But there you go. If you're interested in that, that finishes Friday the 31st at 12:01 p.m. Moving along, just quickly, Leaves playing cards, the Winter in the Shadow edition. I thought these looked kind of cool. If you like playing cards, the art on these feel pretty neat, and I bet they're going to be a stupid price point. 13 euros, 20 bucks Canadian for a deck of cards. Yeah, why did I even bother when I knew it was just going to make me angry? But they're beautiful, right? Sometimes you got to pay money for beauty. Remember that, all of my patrons. Moving along to something I'm actually legitimately interested in. Not personally, but I think people might be interested in it. And I wasn't really that interested in it until I saw Rahdo playing around with these mats, and they seem like really great quality. So if you have Frosthaven or Gloomhaven, and you like putting everything on a playmat, these are the non-official ones that are having their second printing, officially their second printing of these designs. Oh yeah, here's the video. Here's the video. This was at the beginning of one of our R&R shows, and they seem really nice. I think particularly I like the idea of the boss mat. If you're not using an app, if you don't use an app, having this structure feels really nice to give a place to put everything. But they seem like really good quality, and I'm more interested in Crafting Kingdoms because they had a really cool board game bag that, if you remember, I covered back when it was on, and it seemed slick. Seemed almost the same price as board game tables, and I'm excited to do a video comparing that and the board game tables bag when they eventually fulfill, because turns out they're a Toronto company, and I might be able to get my hands on one of those. So I like giving a shout out to local stuff. Why? Because nationalism is a thing, and I'm going to take pride in people who are around the same area as I am, who I've never met and have had no impact in bringing anything of theirs to the market. That's how that works, right? No, I'm not a huge playmat guy. I'm not a playmat guy at all, really. I don't really use playmats, but the Ankh playmat showed me how neat and smooth having something like that could be, and especially if you're playing Gloomhaven and you're going to play the whole thing, that might be the reason to have a designated thing to kind of bling up that game. I'm sure that's how many people justify additional Gloomhaven and Frosthaven bling ups until you've spent a bajillion dollars on them. But seriously, if you're playing on a 100 game campaign, that feels more worthwhile to get something that's designated for that than something you're going to play 4 times, right? They look like they're good quality. Oof, they seem expensive though. 2 monster mats. Why do you need 2? Why not just 1 monster mat? Well, I guess because there's going to be more than 4 different monsters. They probably planned it out. 2 player mats for 36 bucks. These seem expensive to me. I would rather save my money and spend it on the board game table bag, or the board game carrying bag rather. But these do feel like they're going to be good quality, and maybe it's something to treat yourself with. So if you're interested in that, check it out. That finishes also on the 31st at 5 p.m. Okay, you know what? You're getting a coverage just because your whole campaign is just rules. So congratulations, Purim. You get some coverage. All right, it's a cooperative game. Seems kind of like the Grizzled, honestly. If this seems exciting to you, check out the Grizzled. I like it because there's limited communication. I do like the limited communication. You have 4 cards in your hand. Everyone's going to choose one, and then you flip them over, and you have to do the good action and the bad action on them. The goal being adding gold cubes to every province to outnumber the black cubes, to represent the spreading of the good news and not the false news by the sons of Ham Man. I know it's Haman, but I think Ham Man is just much funnier. Sounds like a very evil villain that the Hebrew Hammer would have to fight. Did you ever see that movie? That was a good movie. I think. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I saw like half of it when I was very young, and it was on HBO the first time we had the movie channel. So maybe I was just enamored by that. It could be horribly racist, and I would never know until somebody tells me in the comments right now. Anyway, that's the game. $35, 49 Canadian. And shipping is free within the United States. Shipping was free on another one too. No, it wasn't this one. I forgot to look at it. $9 to $10. Yeah, you're not getting any of these. Shipping is going to be free on something else though. Oh, and so you can only get this in the United States if you're interested. But $35 with free shipping, I'm worried about this becoming too simplified because you always carry out the actions on it. So it's just about where you carry the actions on it would make it interesting. I think if you want that sort of limited communication co-op, the Grizzled is cheaper and will probably be about the same level of fine. But if you're interested, check that out this Friday, March 31st at 6 p.m. Oh, you might get coverage just because you said it ships US only in your tagline. That deserves to be rewarded. Does it deserve to be rewarded by me complaining about how your game is nonsense? I'm interested enough to keep talking about it. It's got the rules, and it's near the top, and they hooked me in with why I might be interested in playing. And that hook was that you could deal it out, and everybody just has their cards in their hand, and they could be lying on a couch. Renee always tells me, I would love to play a board game right now, but I'm too busy lying on the couch. And I would say, but there's a coffee table right here. And she said, can I play laying down? And I say, well, you might have to sit up a little. And then she pushes me over and rolls me down the stairs and locks the door. So this might fix that. All right, you want to get the most of a kind, and so you're going to offer up one of your cards to the group. You're going to say, listen, I don't need any friggin' cupcakes. Who wants my dang cupcake? And people will say, yeah, I'll bid 2 coins worth of cards on your cupcake. And I was like, really? That's all you're going to bid on my friggin' cupcake? What about you, Grandma? She says, I don't need your damn cupcake. I can make a cupcake any damn day of the week. And I say, no, Grandma, we're playing this card game. Look down at your hands. And she says, what hands? And it turns out her hands are actually cupcakes. And then you wake up in a fever dream from off the couch only to hear your aunt say, hey, does anybody want any cupcakes? You look into your hand and you're collecting cupcakes. So you bid 4 coins on it. Then you would trade that 4 coin card to the person with the cupcake, and they'd give you the cupcake. And hopefully you could make a set to win. Generally, that's how that story should go. Honestly, seems quick, seems fun. Give it to me for $5 print and play. Okay, give it to me for no. $18 US, sent right to your house, ships to the United States, so maybe shipping's included. Honestly, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued enough by this. I think sometimes these games with a super simple concept that know who they are and you're just trying to get sets together with some bidding and trading that encourages interaction feels pretty good. 18 feels high, especially it's 25 Canadian, but it only ships to US. 18 is high, but if that includes shipping, you know, then you can say to yourself that it was 13. And in that case, except no, shipping is $7. And they don't tell you anywhere on the campaign. Get lost, sweet deals. You really let me down here. 25, no thank you. You got my hopes up, and you let me down. Where's the shipping on this campaign? I bet it's nowhere. I wish I could wake up from this nightmare. But unfortunately, my hands are they're just batter wrapped in skin that I've convinced you all are real hands. Very disappointed by that. I was starting to come around to it. 18, sure. 25, no way. I like the concept, though. So if you're interested in that, certainly is better than Boba Goba, which is still probably better than Ouch. I don't know. They're probably on par, really. Anyway, if you're interested, that finishes Friday, March 31st at 11:59 p.m. Let's keep it moving. All right, we're on to Pocket Paragon's Round 2, a lightning-fast dueling game. That fits into your pocket, featuring 2 new sets, Acquisitions Inc. and Space Lion. Hate whenever it says sets because it makes you feel like you need all of them. Rulebook, there we go. Halfway down the page. Felt like I was scrolling forever, honestly. I don't see the hype. It said it was Gen Con's best game of 2022. It seemed like it's really putting itself forward with all these different packs and different play styles. But all it is you kind of put a card and you flip it. And you see what happens. You take another card, you flip it, you see what happens. I guess you get that sort of quick battle aspect of it. I do love this dial, though. Just seems different. That's why I love it. It's $24 US plus $5 shipping. So $29 for a set. it doesn't feel completely unreasonable because you get a bunch of different characters with different abilities. I like the other stuff that they've done more. The other stuff excited me more because I can see their IPs that they're using. You have Space Lion, Space Lion seemed a lot more interesting to me, where you're kind of battling everybody at once. The Pocket Paragons, I don't know, I don't get it. I don't quite see why it is that exciting. Especially you just get this rock, paper, scissors thing. I like the tension that can happen when you are ready to reveal. I think that is often really interesting. See it being amplified in interest in this one. But check it out if you want. That finishes Saturday, April 1st at 12 a.m. So Friday night. Let's keep going. We've only got a few left. I know it's felt maybe like an eternity. But we made a commitment to ourselves to look at every single board game leaving Kickstarter, and we're not going to start just eliminating ones now because we want to get done early. Plus, trust me, we're finishing with a heck of a bang. You're not going to want to miss that one. It's by our favorite publisher. One of our favorite publishers is coming out with a great edition of something that they've already come out with twice. Honestly, this is one of the most confusing videos I've ever watched. Let me just get to the rulebook. I like this. Oh, it just feels a little less complex than Ark Nova. Okay, that's good to know. Rulebook near the top of the page. I like that. 24 pages to basically tell you that you're going to be picking one card and putting cards from your hand down to take the card so that there's a flow. I do like this. So because there's going to be swapping out cards in your hand with stuff in the tableau, and you're building it on your own sort of tableau area, you have access to a number of cards in your hand, but those are just the things that you get to put out to potentially block or hinder other people. They're not actually yours. That's kind of neat. You might as well consider these as discard piles, right? If that helps you visualize it more. That's all it is. It's 3 discard piles, and you can take the top card of one discard pile and discard into 2 other ones. But you get to see the structure of each one. Or you can roll a dice and try to take something from the middle of the discard pile. And then there's a number of special actions that you can do. It's just set collection, right? Is it worth $90 Canadian for set collection? I don't think so. Plus $19 US. Yeah, so this is over $100 Canadian for me. And that just makes me not interested whatsoever. Oh, I do love this, though. Special free shipping for Mexico. Board game industry in Mexico has been suffering really hard due to economy in our country. Mexican people rarely support projects on Kickstarter, mostly because the board game hobby is expensive, and it takes almost a complete month's salary for a person to pay for a big board game. If you're from another country, you may find this hard to believe, but sadly it's true. As this project has been developed in Mexico, as a special gesture, we want to offer free shipping to every corner inside of Mexican territory. We want our people to believe in Kickstarter and trust B-Gamer games. We want people to enjoy Gnomistic and play more board games as every happy board gamer in the world. That's awesome. That's super cool in terms of giving back. I mean, some of the pledges on Kickstarter cost some people here their full month's salary as they pledge for Marvel Zombies or whatever, and Galactus, etc. I think that's awesome. I think that's great to support your country and wanting to support promoting the hobby in your country. I think that's wicked. Thrilled that that exists. Thrilled that they're doing that for No Morati. Still feels very expensive for what it is as this sort of tableau builder with just a bunch of cards. It's too expensive for me to get, but I get it. But if that idea sounds interesting to you, well, check it out. That finishes Saturday, April 1st at 1:59 a.m. Moving along, this is also the thing that I'm most excited about, and I know it's going to be bad. Carom Mini Golf, a board game simulation about mini golf with a twist. What is the twist? I guess we'll find out together. The twist is that it's not a dexterity game. The twist is that you just move them yourself. The twist is that I wanted it to be a mini golf dexterity game, let's be real. What are the actual mechanics on how you do that, though? That's where it's going to be either interesting or horrible. I see these dice, and I fear they're horrible. Yeah, so it's kind of like Formula D, where you choose a dice, and the dice have varying ranges of how hard it can be. And then you bounce them off of, you move them one at a time and move it. Honestly, I think this will be better than Formula D. I do. I think it'll give you exactly what you would expect with a little mini golf board game. You roll the dice, you see if you get in the hole, you see if your angle is correct. And yeah, $22 for the smaller version, $34 for the larger version. It's not going to get any play, let's be real. But maybe if you have kids, it might. If you have kids, I feel like this will knock it out of the park, and that's why this is for Sage Light games instead of for Sage games. All right, you know what, Carom Mini Golf, we had some highs, we had some lows. I think you give me exactly what I should have expected. And that finishes Sunday, April 2nd at 5:59 p.m. Moving along to Double Trouble, the memory card game. We're not really going to cover this, but it's a memory testing card game with disquieting images. Play to halt your inevitable decline. That's the reason why we are covering it. It's got one hell of a tagline just for memory, where you can match the creatures or match the backgrounds. That's kind of cool. Different ways of seeing it, making sure that you really, really get the full effect of Francine right there. That's for sure Mama Jim. That's Slippery Jim's mother. It's a photograph, not a portrait. Oh no, she's got a voice too. No. And if you want it, save yourself while you can. That's it. How much is this going to be? $16 for a deck of cards to infiltrate your nightmares. Like that chef that's going to be flying around. Or with Mama Jim. Or you could just move on. I think that's what we're going to do. To our penultimate game, maybe penultimate. This game is something that I get doing these crowdfunding countdowns. Almost words. All right, very simple game. We can talk about it. You reveal a topic. This is exactly what it's going to tell you. Reveal a topic, and then you arrange your tiles in a way that form almost words, and then you justify it, and people pick the funniest thing or the winner. Snake Oil, any of those judging people games, now you know. I don't think we need to spend any more time on it. It's $30 Canadian, or you could take your copy of Bananagrams that you got for $20 Canadian and just do a similar game. Just pick out random words and do a similar game with Bananagrams, which you maybe already own. Who knows? Who knows what people might do? But hey, it's funded, so congratulations. If you're interested in that, it finishes Tuesday, April 4th at 9:59 a.m. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. The last campaign, fittingly, of this week. We gotta finish with something strong. And that, of course, is Marrakesh. Again, by our favorite, Queen Games. You got it. It's the Marrakesh Essential Edition. Now, that's different from the Marrakesh Deluxe Edition, and also different than the Marrakesh Classic Edition. Now we have the Essential Edition, which is in a box that will actually fit on your shelf. So honestly, Queen Games, this is the way you should have done it in the first place. And it's $21 cheaper for, you know, losing 100 to 200 pieces of wood. And look, you also get these exclusive Queen Games storage boxes. Look at how exclusive these are. And they certainly aren't just tiny strips of cardboard that have been cut to form little grooves together. And it's actually a great idea if you want to make easy bins. You take some strips of cardboard, you take a little snip, you know, something that didn't happen at my bat mitzvah, because I didn't have one, and that's not what happens at a bat mitzvah. That would be very traumatizing, because a bat mitzvah is, you're much older than when you really get that first snip. Anyway, you put them together, you stick them together, and just like this. And then they catch each other and they stay that way. They're bonded for life. Anyway, it's a good way of making a quick little insert, which Queen Games has done. And it's nice to have Queen Games have done literally anything. But don't worry, they won't be available in the retail edition. So that's the reason to get it now. I do love this, though, because they actually give you a side-by-side breakdown of the difference between the Essential Edition and the Classic Edition. And that is huge. I was going to roast them over some hot coals and eat them for breakfast. You can see the difference here. And in the Essential Edition, all the chumps who got the Classic Edition are rolling in their graves. These 27 backers, you really screwed up. You know that? You screwed up. Even though it might have been delivered June 2022, I think you really screwed up. And I hope you feel horrible about yourselves because you should have known this was coming down the line. You can see the difference in the boards. You can see that the Classic is overflowing this graphic to just really show how big it is. I like that too. It actually seems to scale. There's just smaller versions of everything, and then you get 92 wooden keshes and 220 cardboard keshes versus the 300 wooden keshes. And that's important. You still need some wooden keshes because you have to drop them in the cube tower, which, according to Rado, if you're playing it with 2-player, there's not enough things that you're dropping in the cube tower for it to really make a difference, and it just comes out, and it's not that exciting. So play this with more than 2 players. Don't play this at 2 players. That's the lesson that we learned from Richard. And if you want this, well, then you can get it for $91 shipped to your door. $91 US for the Essential Edition. This is the cheapest that Queen Games is able to provide this game for you. This game that's filled with cardboard. It's still going to cost you $91 to get to your door, or $120 if you live in Canada. And to that I say, it's Queen Games. What were you expecting? Honestly, by now, if you were expecting something different, that's on you. That really is on you. Queen Games is just doing what they do, and they're being consistent. And I never thought I would see myself do this turn towards Queen Games, but they know who they are. They're an overpriced nonsense of a company, but they know who they are. They're embracing it. And honestly, Queen Games, I embrace you. I accept you for who you are. You gave me Thebes. I will play Kingdom Builder at some point. And you're giving us these great, really expensive versions of games that we had the non-expensive version for back in the day. But now they get to be more expensive because you have them. It's fine. We accept you for who you are, Queen Games. You are the queen of Kickstarter. You're the queen of this week. And honestly... honestly made my week. I was so excited that we were finishing with a Queen Games title. So if you're interested in getting that Essential Edition, like these 317 backers are interested in, who have spent a total of $41,000 between them. I don't know who these Queen Games whales are, but I'd love for them to join the Room and Board Patreon. And maybe I should stop disparaging clearly their favorite game publisher of all time, since they're spending an average of $129 on this thing. You know, when you break it down like that, I mean, they are spending double what the Essential Edition is, so they're probably getting this Stefan Feld bundle, or they're just getting the Classic Edition, or they're getting the Deluxe Edition, which is now even more expensive than it was back in the day, because of course it is. You know how much more expensive? $20 more, $21 more. Come on. It's deluxe. You know you want it. Oh, Queen Games, never change. Please never change. And please never contact me, because I know it's just going to be hate mail. I mean, you could contact me if you wanted. I'd be open to it. Send me some stuff, and I would probably talk about how it's fun and definitely good. I think they make good games, and I think their prices are stupid. So that's it. That's it for the week. And you know what? Every week we have a pick for me and a pick for you, and this week is no different. And I was thinking about the picks that exist, and you know, it's reviving Kathmandu again, let's be real. But if I had to pick something else, I think I have a pick for me, and then I'm pretty sure there's no pick for you. Yeah, you know what? That could be the pick for you. Sure. Just because I got called out for not having a pick for you. I'm sorry for trying to get you to spend responsibly. I will encourage you to spend irresponsibly and spend every week on something. Every week you must buy something, or else all board game companies will go out of business, and that's on your head if you didn't back. If you didn't pledge, that's on you. Anyway, my pick for me is going to be, and this one looks fun, it's going to be Star Tycoon. I was brought in. I think the fluctuation of the market feels interesting. I like that you're completing your contracts of your various planets. I also like the price point. $34 feels reasonable. If you're in the US, maybe this is a pick for you. Well, it's a pick for me, but I live in Canada and it's too expensive to get to Canada. But it's still a pick for me, like based upon the mechanics. This is the one that seems the most interesting to me. And then the pick for you is going to be, you know what? It's going to be a Gloomhaven mat. These seem nice. Call me biased and a shill, but this isn't Arby's, so you can't. Pick for me is going to be the Gloomhaven mat. I actually think these look quite nice, and if you are a mat person, you could do far worse than picking these up. I'm not a playmat person. That's why it's a pick for you. I have zero interest in playmats, to be honest. But I know people out there love their playmats, and I think I wanted to shine a light on this company as well, because they seem like they do good stuff. And I also think getting in early when companies are doing things before they increase their margins and actually decide to have a living wage, you know, when they're desperate for your approval and are cutting their costs in half, well, that might be the time to pull the trigger. I don't know. I don't know how much a playmat costs, but that's my pick for you. If you wanted to pick, that's the one that I'm going to say. So that's it. That's the end of the episode. Thanks so much for sticking around. Thanks for being here. Let me know what you're interested in, what's upcoming. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow Elder Scrolls will launch. And I know all of you are going to go just absolutely ape poop all over it. And I likely will end up having to do a 5 reasons you shouldn't back video on that, but I also think it's gonna look good. I'm excited to check out the campaign page, see what the prices are. Probably Friday, you'll get your FOMO killing. Or maybe Saturday. I'm gonna be in Cleveland right now, and I'm coming back Thursday, so we'll see if I have time after the drive to film something and get it out. Maybe it'll happen on Saturday. Anyway, let me know what you are interested in. If you're excited about Elder Scrolls, if you're excited about anything else upcoming, I always like hearing from you. Thanks for sticking with me. I appreciate being able to hang out like this week after week. I really do. So thanks for being here. For being here till the end. It means a lot, especially on a week like this one. Anyway, my name's Chris George, and oh God, I was doing so well. And you know, I don't have a catchphrase. But know that Olive Garden could be the heroes of the century, but likely they got rid of my hat at the beginning of the new year and can never be trusted, even though I left my number and told them to call me if they were going to get rid of the hat and I could make a trip. And if that did happen, then Olive Garden will be my sworn enemy from here on out.